Welcome to MagicGatheringStrat. I'm Brennon. Today we're going to talk about the MTGOstrat.com live event coverage series. It's something new we're doing. What I did is I went to a Friday Night Magic and I recorded some games being played. These are actual Magic viewers. This isn't your Ben Starks. This isn't your LSVs. These are the average Joes that keep this well-oiled machine a-running. The people that are featured in these videos, they're normal, average guys playing Magic, having fun with their friends. Their metagame is different than we see online. It's different than what is probably across town. But this is a local game shop here in Plano, Texas. And as we'll see, we're going to go through 3 rounds of the Friday Night Magic. There's no particular order. This was just a feature table. I set up my equipment, recorded, and whoever wanted to sit there got to sit there. So let's get to it. Here's another round featuring Sean and Steven. The way this is going to work, I'm going to show the match, have a quick little interview with each of the players, and you'll see the results. Anyway, I really like this game. Sean was actually visiting from out of town. His home base is in New Jersey, but his parents live here in Plano. So he found this shop, and that's something I want to talk about in my article, that it's basically instant community. He didn't know these guys, but he was able to come to this shop. You know, he fit in, played games, everybody had a good time. Anyway, let's get started. Okay.
Probably roll.
Starting off the first round. I'm going to go ahead and turn down the background a little bit. It's kind of hard to talk over that much noise. Anyway, drawing the first set. Steven's looking at his cards. Sean's looking through his. Yep, Sean. He had just a one-lander. Again. Kids, don't try keeping a one-land at home. It will never do you good. This is a different view than the last video I made. So there's a couple of different views. We're going to try them out. I want everybody to write in the comments which one they like better. This one has an over-the-shoulder cam to kind of look at their hands, although these screens are pretty small. And it's kind of hard to see what cards they do have. But again, as they play out, I will put them down on little graphics here. And so he starts with Guildgate. Sean goes ahead and cracks an Evolving Wilds, searches his deck. I like these two. They are pretty close to being just 2 colors each. He cracks it for an island, puts it into play. It's going to get Steven to shuffle or cut the deck after he finishes. Again, I will say it, the shuffler is a luxury on Magic Online because it takes up so much time in real life card slinging. Oh, Steven dropped his cards. I know in probably a sanctioned match that would be some kind of penalty for dropping your cards, I don't know. He goes ahead and plays a plains. Plays a plains. That sounds weird. Sean thought scours. Draws a card. They're asking for who wants pizza. Everybody's raising their hand. This is a pretty cool shop. They provide pizza for them. Steven plays the Geist of St. Traft. Passes the turn to Sean. Sean's looking through his hand. What to do, what to do. Yep, Mind Sculpt. That's a good one. Steven's got to put 7 of those cards into his graveyard. Anyway, I will not be sad to see the Geist leave play. That one drives me crazy. Goes ahead and plays an island, attacks in. Geist creates the angel token. Sorry for the muted colors. This was one of the first games I set up, and the camera was not acting appropriately, so everything's kind of muted. Anyway, Sean's turn. I'm seeing into the future. He's going to play a watery grave. My deft camera work is up in the right-hand corner. Yep, I have him out of frame. There we go. Anyway, the Guys to Precinct 6, I believe that's what that's called. But it doesn't really matter because it gets taken away by the Banisher Priest, and then he attacks again the Geist and the Angel. So Sean no longer has his creature because it has been banished. Banished for being an evil creature. And now he has 4 mana. A little slow on the draw, getting the mana up there. But I promise he actually has 4. Anyway, Steven plays Near Heath Pilgrim. Goes ahead and attacks with all 3 things. Victim of Night the Angel. That's what Sean did. And I would like for everyone to take another look at my incredibly detailed life tracking system at the bottom using giant wooden dice. That's right, folks. We spare every expense here at MTG-Strat. Sean's contemplating. I don't know what he's contemplating. He's only at 2. He must think he can do something. But it took him a little while to get started, and I'm afraid with a mill deck, if you don't jump right in and start some hardcore milling, it's not going to work out for you too well. Plays a Deathrite. He has a tiny bit of green in this deck, as you can tell with the Hinterland Harbor, but it's only for the activation. Passes the turn to Steven. And Steven Fiend Hunters him, swings in, and there's nothing he can do. Get a Victim of the Night to the Angel, but still, that round's over. Alright, decent game. Too bad Sean couldn't get off to a quicker start. But, speaking of which, after this game, let's go ahead and hear a quick interview from Sean. My daughter interviewed each of the players. Let's hear what he has to say.
Hi.
Hi.
What's your name?
I'm Sean Moyer.
Okay. And what type of deck are you playing?
It's a Dimir blue. It's a blue-black mill. Mostly mill, and then beat down as well.
Out of the current block, what is your favorite?
I liked what came out of Gate Crash for the Dimir. I have a lot from that, and from I have a little bit from Innistrad as well to back it up.
What do you think will be a new mechanic in Theros?
I've been liking the rumors about Convoke coming back, maybe under a new name as the returning mechanic, or just as the mechanic that people have liked. I wasn't around for old Ravnica, so I never got the chance to play with it.
And when you first started playing Magic, which was your favorite card?
I started playing in Mirrodin Besieged, and what was it? Why am I blanking on its name? The mythic lifelink Death Touch worm. Wormcoil Engine. Yeah. Love that, and as well, and the Planeswalker as well. Why am I blanking on his name? The blue-black one in Tezzeret. Tezzeret Agent Wolves.
And how do you feel about those cards now?
I still love them. I still have them in my other deck that I have. That's a legacy deck. It's a blue-black affinity for artifacts that I love playing, and all my friends hate.
I'm kind of like that. Only friend I know that plays it is my friend Sean. Well, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go ahead and get on to the second game of the match. Sean versus Steven. Let's see what happens this time. Turn down the background noise a little bit. Okay, let's see. Yep. Steven says, I cannot keep a one-lander. It is just going to be impossible. Take his advice. And then what he does is he actually looks at what next 3 cards he would have drawn, and it was perfect mana for everything he had in his hand. But that doesn't matter. Like Sean suggests, you never look at the next 3 cards. Just don't do it. Just mulligan. Move on with your life. Nothing you can do about it. You made a good decision. You got to keep going with it. Pulls out 6 cards. Okay. Sean starts off with a swamp, and Steven goes ahead and cracks an Evolving Wild, plays a Plains. Sean's turn. Plays an island. I tried to find as close to the islands as I could find and the lands, but there's a lot of lands out there. And you're just going to have to deal with the ones I found. Anyway, Mind Sculpt. Put 7 in the graveyard. It's off to a decent start. Evolving Wilds, another one. Yes, my camera work is terrible, and I apologize. I actually had the tripod on the table. I should not have done that. And the next set of videos where I do the draft, which was the next day, I had it on the floor so the camera's far more stable. If you get easily seasick, I recommend looking away until it stables up a little bit. Anyway, passes the turn back to Sean. I just don't want anybody blaming me if they start to feel a little queasy, although it's probably my fault. Anyway, Vampire Nighthawk comes out on the table, which is a great card. 3 mana for a 2/3 flyer with lifelink and death touch. Yes, that's amazing. Near Heath Pilgrim on Steven's side. Goes back to Sean. Plays Nephalia, Drown Yard, and Cryptghast. Swings in with the Nighthawk. Now has extra life. They're using this tiny little die. Steven's turn. What does Steven do? Just attacks. Sean does not block with his mana producing 2/2. I wouldn't either. Trying to figure out what he's going to do next. Drops a Watery Grave, takes 2. And casts a Nighthawk and extorts it. So he goes up 1 after the 2 he lost. Then he swings in. So gaining another 2. And passes the turn. Sean is professing his love for the Vampire Nighthawk. Oh, that's rough. Detention Sphere. But you gotta expect that from an Azorius themed deck. Anyway, the Detention Sphere has now detained both the Nighthawks. But Nephalia starts to do its work. Little by little, bit by bit. Okay. So now he cracks an Evolving Wilds. I gotta say, again, feel the luxury of the Magic Online. Because this constant shuffling is tedious. I do not know how Eggs players did it. I mean, all the shuffling you had to do. That's... You would get carpal tunnel. You would have creaky old wrists in like one tournament. That is just way too much shuffling. Anyway, cracks it for an island. He does not attack into the near heath because I am certain Steven would have traded with it. Because Sean has all the mana he could possibly need, but ooh. What was this? Psychic Strike. Does not let the Oblivion Ring happen. And it mills him. Slowly but surely, that mill is doing its job. Okay. Oh, and he extorted it. So Sean plays Deathrite Shaman, extorts it, goes up. He's doing very well in the life total business. Everybody invest in Sean. Seems to know what he's doing with the life total. Okay. Banisher Priest comes out and grabs the Cryptghast, which is exactly what I would have done. Because that Cryptghast is just letting him produce way too much mana. Swings in, but he victim of Knights. The Banisher Priest gets his Cryptghast back. And he attacks in with a near heath. Sean takes it. And let's see what happens. Okay. Cast Paranoid Delusions. So it mills him 3. And he extorts it and attaches it to the Cryptghast. And again, attacks in with the Cryptghast with the attached ciphered card. And he attacks it and he casts that and has to mill another 3. And passes the turn back to Steven. Excuse me. What does Steven do? Oh, who am I kidding? I know what he does. I've watched this like 20 times. He O-rings the Cryptghast. Bye-bye Cypher, bye-bye Cryptghast. Okay, now I want everyone to pay attention to what happens next. Because this is a mistake that we can all make if we don't pay attention. Okay, Sean mills him, uses the Nephalia, untaps. Cryptghast is gone. Okay? So, what happens? Cast the White of Precinct 6. He only tapped his Watery Grave. Steven calls him on it, and he instantly taps his Nephalia for 1 extra mana, trying to, making sure that he uses the right amount of mana. Remember that, because look at the open mana that he has. He has plenty of mana that he could have activated Nephalia. Keep that in mind as we go to the end. Banisher Priest again. Man, that Banisher Priest is doing extra fine work. Wow, Banisher Priest. And he's got Sphered. All kinds of stuff going on Steven's side. Untap Sean. Plays a Jace. 5/5 flyer for 1. Can't get much better value out of that. So now he is sitting with a lot of mana. Steven plays Seraph of the Sword. Does not take combat damage. So kind of at a standstill. Ooh. Sean has another Nephalia. Almost enough mana for double activations. And that is crazy. Okay, let's see what happens. Steven's trying to entice him to attack, which would be foolish for Sean, and he knows it. Alright, Steven's turn. Gets another Plains. He's going to count his deck. Steven is trying to figure out how many activations he can go through, because he is holding a very important card. So, he's sitting here, what to do. Passes the turn. Sean is top decking at this point. And he Thought Scours. Okay, so he gets the Thought Scours, but in response to the Thought Scour, Steven Sphinx's Revelations. That is a bold move with very few cards left in your deck. So, what do we have here? Sean is holding on to a Victim of the Night. It's going to Victim of the Night the Seraph. Swings for 5. It is getting so close. Alright, Steven's turn. He Banisher Priests Jace's Phantasm. Plays... Wow, look at all this. Plays a Judge's Familiar and another Geist. At the end of his turn, he gets milled for 3. He has very few cards in hand. Steven is quite pleased with himself. Okay, Sean gets the mana he needs, double activations. There are only 2 cards left in Steven's deck. He pulls top decks. That's right. Ethereal Armor. Puts it on the Geist. Swings in for a billion. 2 cards left. Remember that activation I talked about earlier? You miss triggers, you lose games. I normally am not a spiky kind of player, but you have to pay attention. But yes, this kind of game is the reason I like playing Magic. Look at that. 2 cards left. Top decks, Ethereal Armor. Swings in for 17. Just a little tiny bit more than what he needed. That's crazy. I mean, again, this is this kind of game is my favorite aspect of Magic. Well, hope you enjoyed this game. We're going to listen to a quick interview from Steven. He won, so he should be given a chance to say a few words to us.
Oh, hi.
Hello,
What's your name?
I'm Steven.
And what type of deck are you playing?
Tonight I'm playing mostly white with a splash of blue, Banisher Priests, and Fiend Hunters, and O-Rings, and Detention Spheres.
And out of the current block, what is your favorite?
I'm a big fan of Selesnya. I love gaining life and putting counters on creatures, which is exactly what Selesnya wants to do. And with stuff that's in Innistrad,
There's me trying to
stuff
creep in the background, y'all.
The core sets, you get to do a lot of really powerful things with just huge creatures coming into the field and gaining you infinite life.
And what do you think will be a new mechanic in Theros?
Enchantments are going to be playing a lot more of a role in Theros, so I think there's going to be a lot more stuff saying, depending on how many enchantments you have, kind of like Sphere of Safety, so that creatures get bigger, stuff like that happening in Theros.
And when you first started playing Magic, what was your favorite card?
My favorite card when I first started playing Magic was Splintergeist. But I grew out of that, and I was playing with a lot of white and green, and Sigarda, Host of Herons, is an extremely powerful card.
Yeah. Like, how do you feel about that card you chose when you first played? Like, now?
Splinter Fright does a lot of things, but it doesn't do a lot of things well, and you can't play it usually on turn 3 when you could play a lot of other things. But being a new player, you play what you see and you like what you see, and you play things that seem powerful. So,
Well, thanks for your time.
not a problem.
Alright. Well, that's it for this game. Please give me your comments. Let me know what you like, what you don't like about this series. It's probably going to happen again. It's a lot of work, but it's also a really fun thing to do. Please subscribe to the channel, visit the website, mtgostrat.com, and stay classy and have a good day.